Hey Sarah, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. I'm so glad to see
Good.
you. We met up a couple of weeks ago, but we won't talk about that. Met up by Zoom, um,
Yeah, that
and
was private conversation just between us.
setting the stage for today. Hey Sarah, I wanted to ask you. I've been wondering about what the biggest transition has been for you going to Singapore. Obviously, you lived abroad for a long time. You're used to living abroad. You were a VJ in Singapore. You've had this, but this is a different time in your life. What is that transition been?
Oh, definitely. When I was in Singapore that long time ago in the 90s, I was single, I was working, I was partying a little bit, I was traveling. This time in Singapore, I'm not single, with a husband, with a teenager he's 17, with a dog, and with the pandemic. So
No.
no traveling. But it's this time in Singapore, I feel a lot more mature, obviously, but also a little bit more wiser, I think, because of the pandemic. You learn to be more patient with a lot of things, and you just have to be um, more grateful. You just have to
Uh-huh.
be more, I just feel like maybe I don't have I have a different kind of luxury here in Singapore. So it's a different way of life, but
Mhm.
it's more it's a humbling experience, I guess I could
Mhm.
say that, right?
Mhm.
Because of the pandemic, I cannot go back and forth Indonesia, and therefore I'm not able to work like
Mhm.
before.
Mhm.
So I stay home most of the time, but I I learn new things.
Mhm.
I learn new things. I find new hobbies, and
Mhm.
here we don't have a car, but we have our bike, or we walk, or we take public transport. So it's just a different kind of life, but it's nice. It's simpler,
Yeah.
but it's nice. We
Mhm.
like it. We enjoy it.
I think what you mentioned there is that suddenly we've had to appreciate things, maybe
Yeah,
not had to, but we've started to appreciate things that we just took for granted before, right?
exactly. It's like I said, it's a different kind of luxury. It's like, in Indonesia, I was working a lot, and then I would be home in the afternoon, or the evening, and sometimes I get to have dinner with my son,
Mm,
before I was married to Neil. Or we could go out to restaurants. But here in Singapore, we'll be home and we can all have dinner together.
mm,
There's so many family dinners. We have dinners or lunch, or whatever every day,
mm,
which we didn't get to do in Jakarta because during the day I was working most of the time.
mm,
Or, I was never able to go cycling. We could
mm,
go cycling in Indonesia, in Jakarta, but I would get nervous because of the cars. But here you have the park, it's more
mm,
quiet, and it's things like that. Or because in Indonesia we had a car, so we didn't really need to
mm,
go
mm,
cycling or walking. But here we don't have a car, but
mm,
we walk, or we take public transport, or
mm.
it's different kind of
Mm.
luxuries that we didn't
Yeah,
get to do, but now we get to
that's
do
right.
that. And yeah, we get to appreciate things more,
Sure.
the simpler things, I think.
Yeah. You talked about Jakarta. Obviously, that cycling issue is a big issue right now in Jakarta, with the trend to cycling and the
Yeah.
what's it called? The kind of apa namanya? Ada masalah kan sedikit. But what I wanted to ask you is about what do you is are there things you miss about Jakarta, the place or the lifestyle that you had back there in Jakarta, or as you said, you found ways to not substitute, but you found alternatives, or you found other things that fulfill you.
I miss working. I miss the my
Working
it was
outside the
busy,
home,
but
yeah.
yeah, it was in Jakarta. I was working. I would wake up in the morning, get breakfast ready for my son. He would be going to school, and then I would be going to work because I had a live show at 9 a.m.
Mm,
And then we would do pre-recordings, or I would have other stuff, and then I would come back early evening. We would have dinner, and then we'd go to bed. So it was always like that. And then on the weekends, when my husband, when Neil was already in Singapore, I would go. We would alternate going back and forth, Singapore, Jakarta. So I would go one weekend, the next weekend he would go. So it was always like that. So it was very busy. But here, since the pandemic in Singapore, we could travel. So I'm always home. It's simpler, but I, like I said, I learned new things. I would, before, if I wanted like something, I would just buy. But I learned to make banana bread or muffins during the circuit breaker. Or just recently I learned how to make my little bracelets with semi-precious stones.
Wow.
And we had a bazaar, and I was able to sell some, so I made a little bit of money. So it was nice. It was like, oh, I could do that, or I learned other skills like flower arrangement. So I'm not as busy as I was in Jakarta in terms of work, but every day I'm also I'm always cleaning the house, and doing laundry, doing this and that, just a housewife kind of thing. But I enjoy it, and I'm cooking a lot too. Not every day, but I try to make something in the week, a few days a week.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but I miss the life. I miss the work. I miss the work. I miss driving, but I don't miss the traffic. But I do miss driving because we don't drive here.
In our previous conversation, you said to me that driving was almost like cathartic to you. It was something that allowed you to kind of be at one with yourself and contemplate and think things through.
Yeah, when I was driving, coming home, going to work, or coming home from work, driving in the traffic. Yeah, nobody likes traffic. I mean, I'm talking about the traffic jam, bumper to bumper in Jakarta, right? And I'm always going rush hour, going to work in the morning and then coming home in the afternoon. So I cannot avoid the rush hour. That's always in that. But that's when I get my ideas for the shows that I could share with my team, creative team. Or I'm thinking about a lot of things, my plans and this and that. So yeah, there's the car and the toilet. The car and the bathroom. That's where you get most of your ideas from.
That's
when
true.
My creative team asks me, what should we do tomorrow? What should we do next week? What should we do with this guest? I'm like, okay, it's either I'm getting the ideas when I'm driving or when I'm in the toilet, right?
That's right. Or
Did you get the ideas of talking to me when we were in the toilet?
Yeah.
When you were in the bathroom, Bruce?
And of course, your family,
Yes, I was gonna say, of course, I miss my mom. Yeah, I miss my mom. My sisters there, my my brother, my niece and nephews, and I miss them because once a week during the weekend they always come over to the house. I would always host dinner or go out with my mom every time I'm free, because I'm always working. So I don't have any arisan group, so I never went to arisan. I would meet up with a few friends. I'm not into large groups, but I would meet up with like 1, 2, or 3, maybe the most 4, and go out to lunch. Not always dinner. I try to be home for dinners with my son, but maybe lunch. But a lot of times in the weekends, I would always go with my mom. Most of the times when I'm free, I would always go with my mom, because my dad's he passed already a few years ago. So it would always be with my mom or my sister. So I miss that. I miss those times too. Yeah.
Have you, in Singapore, do you have a core group of friends that I mean, you've got your husband, you've got your son, Rajat, but do you have a core group of friends that you socialize with, that you mix with, that have your back there in Singapore?
Yeah, I do have. It's funny because when I came back to Jakarta from New York in '93, I met these girls. They went to Trisakti, and I met them because one of them, my daughter of my father, my father's friends, daughter of my father, daughter of my father's. That would be surprising. Daughter of my father's. My father's friends. Although we met through friends. So anyway, when I moved to Singapore in 2019, waktu itu, and these two girls that I used to hang out with a lot when I was in Jakarta, they're all here with their husbands too.
Mm,
Suaminya kerja di sini, mereka kerja di sini. So it was so nice to reunite with
mm,
them. But now one of them has gone away to move elsewhere, and one of them is still here. So
mm,
that's one of my closest friend. And during the pandemic, it's nice because I didn't get to travel so much. I didn't get to travel at all to Indonesia for work. So I stay put and I get to meet new friends,
mm.
ladies, Indonesian ladies who are in Singapore, and I also reunite with my old friends when I was with MTV, makeup
Oh,
artists. Once in a while, I would meet up with Nadia or talk to her through WhatsApp.
mm.
So, tapi, during the pandemic, we've been advised to keep our group small, right? We
Yeah.
cannot hang out with new people, whatever, because of the pandemic. So we have this small group, but, we don't meet up all the time, but, once a week or twice a week or
Mm,
we meet up, but we stay on WhatsApp.
mm. Isn't that interesting what you're
Yeah.
saying? And I'm thinking through it. It's like we've kind of, through this pandemic, we've kind of got more in touch with ourselves, but we've also got more in touch with the people who really mattered. You know what I'm saying? In the
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
who kind of that core group, or we found new people who are, or other people have come in who've become part of that, in this thing
Yeah.
that we never imagined would happen, right? Um, at any rate, we know, we hope that this pandemic will pass. You've been vaccinated, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Have you had
Twice.
both or what? Just one so far,
Both.
Sarah?
Both.
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 Me too.
Yeah.
So,
My second one was in April. Yeah.
wow, that was quick, huh? I just got mine last 2 weeks ago. But
Yeah.
at any rate,
I'm over 60. I'm over
Sarah,
60. So I had mine early.
that's the best joke to say to people. I imagine you were at the front of the line, you know.
That's like
But
the new joke now.
hey, but I wanted to ask you, this pandemic will pass. We're going to have somewhat a new kind of life. I don't know whether we'll ever go back to the kissy kind of apa namanya? Cium kiri,
Chipika
cium.
chipiki.
Yeah. Well, will we go back to that? I don't know. But what I wanted to ask you is, what do you want to do in the future? Will you be going back to, doing that commuting between Indonesia and Singapore? And what about work? Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people really want to know, because your talk show was fun, at least for the viewers. I don't know what it must have been like doing that day in, day out, day in, day out. But what are you going to be doing next when you do go to work outside the home, not just working inside the home?
I actually miss that. It's like, you mentioned you don't know how it was like for me to do that every day, the talk show, but it was like my playground. I really loved it and I missed it actually.
Mm,
I enjoy every episode. For 6 years I did that, and it was like every day was
mm,
always fun. I was always like, oh, I'm so happy I have this
mm,
this work, this playground. I really, really loved it.
mm.
I really
Even
enjoyed that.
even when you had a guest who was unresponsive, or was it just like, okay, we need to overcome this?
Um, yeah, it was, once or twice you have that, but I would always, I would try my best, because sometimes they are responsive, sometimes it's because they're uncomfortable, or they, maybe they're in a bad mood, or they're just not a pleasant person. Yeah. So we would always come up with games. You cannot help if a person is unpleasant. They're born like that, right? There's only so much you can do. So, but we would always have games ready, or we always we basically in Indonesia we kind of know if this person is fun or not or whatever, because the creative team would always talk to them first before we set the date for the talk show. But anyways, the plan, I would, if the pandemic is done, and if we finally were allowed to, we can travel, the travel
Mm,
restrictions are, done and over with, i I hope to go back to Indonesia for work, not to
mhm,
stay. I still have a home there. I have the our helpers taking care of the house, and my sister would come and stay over or look after the house too. So I would love to go back and forth still. I mean, Indonesia is only an hour and a half away, right, by flight.
Right.
And yeah, we took that for granted, like just travel, just
Mm.
anytime we wanted. So my plan is to go back for sure to work. I'm still doing some kind of virtual events now. Every now and then they would ask me to host. That's also nice too, because I'm not so much for dressing up. So I kind of like staying home and do these events. Just put on a little something and get the ring light to help you look a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then just put something nice on top, and I'm wearing shorts or, you know,
Right.
whatever underneath. So it's always, I was telling my friend the other day, I said, "Oh, ini enak juga ya. I don't really have to like wear heels or try, I'm not so much for dressing up. I just always
Mm.
like to relax with my outfit." But anyways, yeah, the plan is to go back
Mm.
Indonesia to work, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here I've only been asked to be guest star and things like that. Tapi kayaknya untuk hosting or talk show host, they obviously prefer someone Singaporean or a local person kali kalau di sini.
Mm.
So
Tapi
yeah.
you have anything in the pipeline for Indonesia? You got things you're looking at?
Well, yeah, ada beberapa. I've had offers. Uh, but they keep asking me, "Kapan pulang? When are you going back? We have this project
Mm.
for you. We have this, and there's this talk show we're interested to have you do, but we have to talk about how we're
Mm.
going to do that because obviously if it's live, I have to be there, or I think it has to be a pre-recorded. It's a lot of things we have to talk about, the technical side, the execution, how it would be done. But there are offers, and that's why I'm just like, oh, semoga pandemi ini cepat berlalu.
Betul. Bentar lagi kayaknya. Harap begitu. Tapi
Yeah, yeah, because
yang
I'm not thinking about vacation. A lot of people are going, "Oh, I can't help to go on vacation, can't help to go on holiday and stuff like that." For me, this pandemic, me not working for over a year, I feel like I'm on a long, long, long vacation. I
yeah.
already feel like I'm on vacation because, after I clean the house, I'm actually free to go out and to do whatever again. I can go to the pool. So I feel like I'm on vacation forever. So uh I'm just dying to go meet my mom, my family, see my
Mm.
home, see my plants, my room, and
Mm.
drive and go to work.
Mm. And the kind of work, I mean, I think you're the kind of person who's done so many different things in your career, right? From MTV to you've done movies, you've hosted that talk show, um, you've done a lot, and also the emceeing work that was very good for you. That you were one of the most prominent apa namanya, MCs for events, etc. But would you be interested in? You talked about your interest in cooking. Would you be interested in doing like one of those cooking shows? I mean, you got that turn of phrase, you got that wit, that would be great. I think, yeah. Not taking yourself too seriously or anything. Would that be something that you'd be interested in, Sarah?
Yeah, because we did a segment of that cooking. We had a cooking segment in my talk show on net.
Mm,
So, but it was a cooking segment. It was about me finding recipes online and trying it out
mm,
live, exactly trying it out and see the outcome. So sometimes I fail, sometimes in the end. And it's actually the funny thing is the process of it, because sometimes
mm,
you read recipes and you're like, oh, and then, or sometimes kalau bikin, if you're making some Indonesian food, you have a lot of ingredients that you're not familiar with because there's so many spices, right? That they use a lot of things like langkuas atau ini atau
mm.
apa, and you're like, which one are these things? So I would like to do something like that, but definitely not a cooking show in terms of like something and then is a successful, because I'm not a chef and I don't cook so well. Like my son says he only eats my food because he has to.
Oh, how ungrateful that.
Because nggak ada option lain. But my husband, he's always like, "Oh, this is good, this is delicious, this is good."
Oh, sweet. What
Sweet.
when you talked about Jakarta with me last time, but you don't miss Jakarta and the different things that what you call it. the day-to-day living of Jakarta, the kind of grind of the macet and everything, the
The
pollution?
macet, no, I don't miss the macet. I don't miss the pollution. That's why I really enjoy walking around in Singapore, because I'm like that. Even I'm just OCD. I cannot see sampah atau I'm like that. I just like to see everything clean, and so I don't miss the macet. I don't miss the bau gut sometimes. Not in all places in Jakarta, but some places. And I don't miss the streets with no sidewalks. A lot of places in Indonesia have no sidewalks. You know that, right? And that's really annoying. So it's not, it's not pleasant to walk around
Mm.
all over it. But I do miss the food.
Hmm.
I miss the energy. There's
Yeah.
a different kind of energy, in Jakarta. Is
Mm.
is is vibrant. It's very lively. Is
Yeah. Yeah.
even the smell kind of make you
Uh,
realize that, yes, I'm alive. I can smell this.
what I was gonna say, it's kind of like,
I can smell it. There's a smell. I don't have COVID. They said the symptoms of
yeah.
COVID is you lose your sense of smell. When you're in Jakarta, you know that, oh, I'm okay. I can smell it. Here, sometimes you're like, there's no smell. Am I healthy?
Well, it's that kind of, there's that warmth that, there's a grittiness about Jakarta. You can see all sides of life. You can see
Yeah. And the
there.
people are always like, Alamba, Alabu.
Yeah,
They're always like,
that's right. That's
smiling. Even the people, it's funny because even a person who's not supposed to cross the street on a busy street, when they cross the street, they're smiling. You know what I sorry.
that's right.
They do that. That's like,
Apa ya?
it's
But
lucu.
uh, so well, that sounds great, Sarah. And yeah, I think that's brilliant. Yeah. And would you think of going back to acting?
Yeah, I love that. I acting is fun. Doing movies are fun, and I'm always very picky with my movies. I like
Mm,
characters who are just like, um basically, I enjoy doing comedy. I it's fun for me. It's like,
mm,
it's not, I don't feel like it's working, because in a comedy you're always surrounded by funny people, and in the process, during the shoot, it's always funny moments, so it's always so much fun. And doing characters that's not, out of my um normal character, it's always fun. So there have been offers for movies, and they've been asking, kapan balik, we have this project, we have this, but like I said, we just have to wait for the pandemic.
okay.
Especially now, the travel restriction can even more
Mm,
stricter in Singapore, so we just have to wait.
sure. And returning to a
you
singing
know
career, silakan saya juga kopi. Pamit. Tapi
Silakan.
gimana? What about your singing career?
Oh yes, after my 12th album, I'm thinking I should go back and make my 13th. But they keep telling me 13 is such an unlucky number, so maybe I go straight to 14,
I think that's a
my
great idea.
14th album. I mean, I'm going to do something, a mix of Tina Turner and Diana Ross, and maybe put a little bit of Elvis Presley in the middle. So
Oh,
if you can, it's a mix of just different stuff. It's gonna be
I mean,
love song about, yeah, it's gonna be love song about the exes that you've never had.
and you do have a hound dog. You do have a little hound
I
dog
do
there.
have a singing dog. Yes, I do. I have a
Okay?
pup star.
You ain't
I have a
nothing but
little
a
pup
hound dog.
star.
I can hear that coming. Very pretty
You
hound.
can be my backup. You can be my I don't know, you can either be a dancer or
All right,
singer.
Sarah.
What
Now
do you
you're
want to
getting
be?
personal. All right. I don't think you can afford me, Sarah. Sorry, dear. Sorry, dear. No, no, no. You haven't seen it. Um, um, coming back to the talk show, who would you really, really, really love to interview if you get to do another talk show, Sarah?
We tried to do Ibu Iriana, First Lady, but we were. I wanted to do a cooking show with her, actually, to do her recipes and do it and with her and do something fun with that, different kind of cooking show. But we weren't able to do that. Was it because my schedule was so busy, or what? I have to. I don't know why we couldn't come up with a date. I think it was because I was just busy. So I had to get back to her.
Okay. So,
belum sukses. So hopefully.
And anybody else that
Pak Jokowi, and I've interviewed him also.
When you
siapa lagi ya?
Siapa ya? Yang
I would like interview you. You aja. You've always interviewed me. Maybe I interview you.
Well, I always found you an interesting interviewer. The first time I interviewed you was for apa yang film Perempuan Punya Cerita, and I was so impressed. I was so impressed by that film. I thought it was, I thought it was just really well done.
Yeah.
Anyway, but then
they all did. Yeah.
You did.
I think all the directors. Yeah. Perempuan Punya Cerita. I did a dangdut singer.
Yeah. What was her name? Siti or something?
Echi. Oh, my thing came on. Is that okay?
Yeah. Never mind.
Echi. Yeah.
And then you also did Madam X, right?
Yes, that was fun too.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
That was good. That was just so fun. And shooting with Nia Dinata, because Perempuan Punya Cerita, Madam X, semuanya kan produced by Nia's team. And shooting with her is always fun. She's such a foodie, jadi selalu banyak makanan enak. That's what I always love.
And you were one of the three apa namanya in that movie, and you had what's her name as well, right? From MTV.
Ada di situ ada Shanti, Titi DJ, Aming.
It was hilarious.
It was funny. That was fun.
Alrighty, Sarah. I'm gonna thank you for everything. I've really enjoyed seeing you again and talking with you, and I hope that it's all going to be great success for you. And so I can't wait to see you go back to Indonesia. I mean, I left a few years ago, so I didn't see the cooking segment come into the show and things like that. But all success to you and everything you do. Huh?
Thank you. Will you ever go back? Will you ever go back? Do you want to go?
I love Indonesia. I take an Indonesian language course every Saturday, and I always, I love interacting with people on Twitter and speaking about, English and do you know what, Sarah? We there was that news story yesterday about, the Kongguan biscuits.
Yeah.
The kaleng and ada gambar ibu sama dua anaknya, mana bapaknya. Ternyata it's taken allegedly from a book here in England, this series Ladybird books for children. So I was reading that and it was fascinating to me, right? That kind of thing. So yeah, Indonesia, like you said, there's something about Indonesia that warmth and that dynamism and that just being able to get good food from the vendor at any time of the day, something delicious, and also the attitude of Indonesian people that, like it happens kind of thing, right? Not like I think in Singapore, maybe also in Britain, where everything is like, oh, we got to complain, right? We got to complain. But in Indonesian, it's like biarin. Ya udah.
Ya udahlah, terima aja. Yang penting ini.
Anyway, all right, Sarah. Thanks, Hanya. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Hey, take care. Have fun tennis.